His emotions he'll hide, all his aches and pains. Stays up in his head about what must be done. Taking no time off, daddy stays on the run. He's my dad and I love him. With him I have no fear, because anytime I need him, I know daddy's right here.
Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. Oh, it's just my dad. My dad. My dad.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to another episode of Daddy's Right Here Live. I'm your host, as always, Sabir Aline. What's happening? What's going on? What's popping? Yeah, I can tell you what's dropping. Another episode here. Yeah, the necessity of self-care. What is that all about, man? When we start looking at self-care, that seems like something far, far in the distance, man. You know, far, far in the distance, but it's not. It's right there, right here in front of you. And I talked about this before. How many of us walk around gainfully employed with an insurance card in our pocket? Yeah, insurance card in our pocket. All we have to do is walk into the spot, pay whatever the deductible is, and it's a wrap. Whatever needs to be taken care of can be taken care of. But it's not until the aches, the pains, the discomfort, the depression, and all those other things that come along with unresolved conditions come into play that we go and get help. And then even after getting help, we fail to follow up. Okay, the pain stopped right now. It's all gone. Now these pills work. These pills work. They took care of everything. The doctor said it's all going to go away, but you still have to deal with how did that happen? How did it get to that point? Whatever is going on came about as a result of something that you are failing to do or are doing. So that means there has to be a behavior change as well. But until you begin to recognize how it's a barrier between you and healthy living and productivity in your life, right? It's going to always be just that way because you have to see it. Nobody can tell you that it's going in this direction. You already know it's going in this direction. You already know. We know those things. But then we spend countless hours caring for others. We go to work every day. We get up, go faithfully. We don't take our PTO. We don't take vacations. We don't do something on the weekend that breaks away from the monotony of everyday living, being in the house all the time, especially when you live in the concrete jungle. Yeah, let's call it what it is. When you live in the city, right, it's seldom things that are nearby that you can walk to or get to within 10, 15 minutes to be able to break away from the monotony of everything. You know, and when you do, it's usually something that's inside of the concrete jungle. So you'll spend money going to the movie, you'll spend money going to a restaurant, you'll spend money going to, those game centers and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, you still have not broken away from that environment. You notice in a lot of the poor and impoverished communities, the fringe communities, you find very few trees, very little grass, because those things are typically costly in terms of being able to maintain. Right? So instead of wasting countless hours and countless dollars in grooming those, manicuring those areas, they just get rid of it. because seldom do people do it like they should. Grass grows 2, 3 feet, high. It's full of debris. It's not cleaned up. It's not maintained the way it's supposed to be. Therefore, we're not going to have it because we're not going to keep knocking on your door telling you you need to cut your grass, and you keep cussing us out because you don't want anybody telling you how to take care of your property, right? Trees. You have some cities they'll give out trees and paint. They'll give you a tree and let you plant the tree in front of your house, but you're responsible for that tree. You're responsible when that tree chokes your water lines and begins to break them, and you're responsible for having all that dug up. Yeah, that compliment that they gave you, that complimentary tree, yeah, they give it to you to beautify the community because they know the significance of plant life in the community, right? Yeah, it's needed. So when you don't have those things, how does it affect you? Hot concrete, hot tar, the fumes that come up off of those things that enter into your breathing system, right? You sit on your step on the summertime, chilling, and all that heat just rests upon concrete, glass, tar, wood, no trees, no grass, right? And you have to break away from those things. When I lived in Philly, we had to drive, at least an hour away to get to Atlantic City to be able to experience the ocean, right? And of course, there was other things there, activities you could participate in, and food to buy, and all those things like that. But at the end of the day, how fulfilling is it when you have to drive so far, just to experience grass in a tree, right? So self-care is really important. It's something that we're always neglecting, and it's something that all of us, need to improve upon. We need to get better with those things. And when I say get better with it, not get better with neglecting it, but get better with attending to ourselves. So it's an article that I found on the Very Well Mind website. And the title of the article is 5 Self-Care Practices for Every Area of Your Life. And the article is by Elizabeth Scott, PhD. The article was updated on February 13th, 2023. And it was medically reviewed by Rachel Goldman, PhD, FTOS. Yeah. So it was written and it was medically reviewed, right? So it's important, when you're perusing the internet, you look at the quality of the content and not just pick up information from anywhere. Because a lot of people can have great ideas, which we do ourselves. We have these great ideas. That's why we don't take care of ourselves, because we believe that we're doing the best we can. And many times we are doing the best we can. But you look at articles, that are supported, by psychiatrists, psychologists, learned scholar people. So you can begin to apply the principles of those things to you. So the article begins with self-care, as the name suggests, is all about caring for yourself to ensure that both your physical and emotional needs are met. All the stress relief activities in the world won't help you if you aren't taking care of yourself. Meditation won't do any good if you aren't getting adequate sleep. In fact, when you try to meditate, you might doze off because you aren't taking care of your body's need for sleep. Similarly, hitting the gym once in a while won't relieve much stress if you're not regularly fueling your body with healthy, nutrient-dense food. You need to take care of your basic needs first if you want your stress relief activities to be effective. Period. It's all, I can just leave it right there. Right? I'm one who has worked out, in some capacity for many years, on and off. The older I've gotten, the more on and off it's been. So I'm back on track again. I spent some time going to the Fit Boot Camp, doing some stretching because I did a lot of weightlifting, but I did very little stretching. Did very little core exercise and things like that, other than a sit up. So I went there and jump started, my program all over again. It's all about having a plan. It's always about forming a program of care. So I won't use the word program of fitness because fitness falls under the umbrella of care. So, but when you start getting into fitness, right, you can't just work out. You can't just do exercising and stretching and all those things and believe that that's it. So a lot of things you have to change. Being sleep deprived can kill you. It can kill you. Um, so you really have to begin to look at how you're actually caring for yourself. You can't just cook a meal, right, without having seasonings, herbs and spices and things of that nature, because then it's just not satisfying to your palate. So it's necessary that you understand the compartments of care. So in this show today, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about 5 self-care practices for every area of your life, because every area of your life is affected in some capacity when you don't care for it. If you don't wash your face, what happens if you don't wash your face with cleansers? If you just take and put water on your face, if you don't take and use any kind of facial scrubs to remove blackheads and the build up of oil and all those things, dry patches, all those things. What happens if you just put water on? Now we know how water is processed, right? Through waste management, water is processed through a whole filtration system, and all these things are added in to clean the water up. So the wastewater goes in, dark, murky, stinky, and it comes out after all these things are added to it, right? Without all that color. Some water you'll get that'll be clear, white, for lack of a better term. Then you have some that have yellow tints to it, and so on and so forth. It's not drinkable water. It's not really drinkable water. You shouldn't be drinking spigot water. Not in these cities, especially. With all of the rust and everything inside of the pipes. But you have to look at that. If you're applying it to your skin, how does it affect your skin? I know when I like to stand under the shower and just let the hot water just kind of loosen up the muscles. Then I find myself itching in that back area where that water has consistently fallen. Then you have to apply something to it. So, you need to wash your face with, some kind of cleaning product, whether it's, a soap, whether it's Noxzema, whatever it is, because your skin is subjected to a whole lot of stuff and the weather, the air, and you need to wash it. If you don't, you begin to experience a whole lot of things. But it's also about water, drinking plenty of water. So you have to drink plenty of water as well for your skin to continue to look, natural and without all those additives coming through your pores. So that means what you eat is also significant to what comes out of your pores. Your diet can cause body odor, right? If you're not caring for your body, you get a body odor from eating certain foods, right? There's certain foods that you consume that can come out in other areas. For women, some women won't eat asparagus because they feel like they experience when eating asparagus, there's an odor that comes from them, right? So you have to be attentive to every area of yourself. I've always wanted to do a commercial. I might just do one, play. But like men can't have soft skin. Like that's some old nonsense somebody came up with. I don't want my skin scaly and dry and nasty just because I'm a man. I want my skin to be soft too. right? I want my skin to be soft too, right? My woman don't need to feel scales like I'm some kind of reptile or something like that, right? So I want my skin to be soft. I take a shower and I can't put on like lingerie and stuff like that. I could if that was my twist, but that's not. So as a man, right, I need to be showered. I need to put on deodorant. I need to spray some cologne on myself, so I can be presentable and desirable, for my wife, right? These things are all important in terms of self care because when I do those kind of things, I feel good about me, but then she also, continues that admiration for me. So that's that simple thing as far as just cleaning yourself and, having good skin and good practices of making sure your body doesn't have an odor to it, because if you stink, ain't nobody want to be around you. Think about it. So it's not a lot that we as men can do, to be sexy, but being clean is sexy to my wife. Being clean and smelling good, right? That's part of self care because if I'm taking care of myself and she's loving me, loving on me like that, that's good for me. So that's part of health as well. That's part of health as well, right? Happy wife, happy life. Come on now, catch up, right? So we have to look at those kind of things. Hey, Ness, what's going on, cousin? Hey, girl, mom. So you have to look at these kind of things because in the long term perspective, there's going to be a whole lot of things that affects when you continue to not care for yourself, right? So back to the article here. So let's talk about what self care is pertaining to what the article is saying. Self care has been defined as a multidimensional, multifaceted process of purposeful engagement in strategies that promote healthy functioning and enhance well being. Essentially, self care means a conscious act people take in order to promote their own physical, mental, and emotional health. When you look at our society today, you see people getting all these body enhancements, right? Follow me here. They're getting all of these body enhancements, right? Boobs, butt, tucks, whatever they're getting. All these enhancements for a physical presentation to others that they believe others desire to have, not looking at what it's doing to their own self perception. I don't have enough behind. Men like a lot of butt. I want a big butt. Right? I'm getting wrinkles in my face. I'm getting older. I need to start getting all this Botox and stuff so I can physically look appealing. But when you're doing all these things, I don't care who you are, and I don't care what you say. And please post a comment if you beg to differ because I like to hear it. But the reality of it is when you're getting all of these enhancements, these self enhancements, you are changing who you are. So when it talks about here a purposeful engagement, you are purposely engaging in an altering of yourself. You are no longer you. You are no longer that creation. Your spirit, right, also gets affected. Understand what I'm saying to you. You make all these physical enhancements. How does it enhance your spirit? Because you have come to believe that you're not enough, that you don't look good enough, that you're not thick enough, you're not thin enough, you're not voluptuous enough, you're not endowed enough. These are all the things you're telling yourself when you're doing all these things. You have to look at all of those things. Yes, there are in fact things that women do to beautify themselves because it's part of the culture. But there's a line that has to be drawn somewhere. There's a line that has to be drawn somewhere, right? But when you engage in change of yourself in that capacity, you have to continue that change. And that's all the focus begins to be on because that's what you believe you need to keep doing. And it's going to hurt you in the long run because you're going to have to keep doing that for life. You're going to have to keep making those adjustments for life. You're going to keep making all of these surgeons rich for life because they know you have to come back. They know you have to come back. You can't adjust your body. You can't enhance your body and don't think that there's something that's going to develop eventually out of this. You're going to have to do something later in life. If you're doing this at 20, 30, years old, what is it going to look like at 50, 60, 70 years old? What is that going to look like? How are you going to feel about yourself then? And these are certainly not the years you want to be down on yourself now, because when you get older, there's so much more to contend with in the aging process. The last thing you want to have to deal with is like, I used to have all of this, and now the natural order of life has taken place and everything goes south anyway. Now you're stuck. You're stuck. So everything then did what it does for aging, and now you just left with bags just hanging there. And who's going to be attracted to that? Now you're in your 60s and your 70s and you're trying to keep up, but who's going to be attracted to you then? And then what are you going to think about yourself at that age? Now that you've had all these enhancements done. And now that you're still husbandless, you still don't have a good man. You still don't have a committed man, right? So you did all these things. You did these for yourself because that's what you thought that should be. And now nobody wants you because of where you are. And when you get to the 60s and 70s, it's really the time you want to have somebody that's solid. It is. That's why so many people just age out and they die spiritually first. And then mentally they begin to just decompensate. The spirit is dead. They don't have the spirit anymore. High-spirited people should be around high-spirited people. Right? Two old fogies together that neither are high-spirited is not a good place to be. It's not. Nor is it to have one high-spirited person and a low-functioning person, because the low-functioning person will drain the high-functioning person, and then they're both in the same position. So when you start looking at self-care, also start looking at who's around you, who you keep around you, who's in your circle. Which is why 55 plus communities are designed the way they are, because they have all kinds of activities. The expectation is that everybody's participating in those activities because it's necessary for the aging process for people to have purposeful lives. Purposeful living is important. So they have bikini games, they have these activities, they have golfing outings, they have picnics, they have all these things that are going on in this 55 plus community, which is why it's a requirement that you do this. So it's not just a community of seniors living together, it's a community of seniors bonding, keeping each other's spirit going, keeping them involved, looking out for each other. Because people don't have time to look out for each other anymore. People are so splintered in their lives. Everybody has so much to do. Back to the article. There are many forms that good self-care can take. It could be ensuring you get enough sleep every night, or stepping outside for a few minutes for some fresh air. It can also mean taking the time to do the things that you enjoy doing. What do you enjoy doing? There are a lot of people who have a 9 to 5, come home and just sit down and smoke cigarettes and sit in front of the TV. Wow, what a life. What a life. Why have you reduced your living to just that? You've done that. You can't blame anybody else. You can't say, well, I don't have money. Well, there are a lot of things in life that are free. Parks are free. Libraries are free. The ocean, the beach is free. It's free. And we get stuck on, I don't have any money to do anything that I enjoy. Well, you need to learn how to enjoy the outdoors. And as I said, it's difficult to do when you live in the concrete jungle. Most of our parks are closed down because the city doesn't want to put out any money to manage it, because they feel like, well, they just going to tear it up so nothing happens with it. So it becomes a haven for drug abusers. It becomes a haven for criminals, and nobody wants to go there. But there are a lot of things that are free that can be done by yourself. That could be done with your family in order to keep your spirits going. It's depressing just to sit in the concrete jungle all the time. You in the city, it's just depressing. You're sitting on the step. You're seeing all the nonsense, all the shenanigans. You're hearing gunshots, and it's just hot. It's just hot. Concrete is hot. So let's go on down to this list of different self-care. So we're going to start with physical self-care. So to the article, physical self-care. You need to take care of your body if you want it to run efficiently. Keep in mind that there's a strong connection between your body and your mind. When you're caring for your body, you'll think and feel better too. You'll think and feel better too. So what you think about yourself is very important. It's very important because it ultimately fuels how you feel. Yeah, it fuels how you feel. Physical care includes how you're fueling your body, how much sleep you're getting, how much physical activity you're doing, and how well you're caring for your physical needs. Attending healthcare appointments, taking medication that's prescribed, and managing your health are all part of good physical care. And that's where I began the show with, right? If you have medication for some particular reason, find out what caused this particular condition. Find out, why is my blood pressure high, right? What can I do to start bringing my pressure down? Because your pressure is up for a reason, right? You're not properly managing your stress. You're allowing particular things to weigh on you. You're allowing unresolved to weigh on you. You're allowing the job to overwhelm you. You're allowing the children to overwhelm you. You're not eating right. You're eating all the wrong foods. You're not sitting down cooking meals. You're eating all these processed foods. Therefore, you're always taking aspirin for a headache. Or you find yourself drinking alcohol more because you're just that stressed and you just want to drink the day off. And the list goes on and on. We're multifaceted as human beings. Therefore, the solution to healthy living is also multifaceted, which it said in the beginning of the article. It's multidimensional. You can stop smoking. Okay, now that you've stopped smoking, now what? The difficulty with stopping, are the things that trigger you to do it. What are the things that trigger you to do it? When do you find yourself smoking more? When do you smoke less? We can do it at work. You can be at work and just smoke-free environment. You don't smoke. You can be at an event for hours. Don't smoke. As soon as you get outside, you go smoke. Why? Is it habit? Is it habit? Or is it just you've conditioned yourself to believe that I haven't had one in a while, so I'm just going to do it because I haven't had one? Because a lot of times you'll go out, you'll just take that short puff and put it out. You're good. Then there's times when you pull on it and you take one drag and it's like it's halfway gone because you just something. It's something inside that drives that. Because you can do it without any issue at work. You put 8 hours in and don't smoke all day. Sleep. They used to laugh at me and call me Mr. 8 hours. I will sleep. Trust me. I will come home from work and I will sit down in a chair and 15, 30 minute, revitalizing nap, old people nap, I call it now. It used to be 15 minutes. Now it turns into about an hour or two. But I'll come home and go to sleep. I won't push myself and make myself do other things if I don't have to do it. Sometimes I won't even turn the TV on. Just go to sleep. Rest off the day. Get up. Get something to eat. And then I'm back in the bed. You have to get sleep. Sleep is very, very important, especially to the brain. All these activities going on all day long, meeting everybody else's needs. Where are your needs being met that 8 hours at work? I always tell myself, go to lunch. Stop, just stop. Walk away from it. When I'm on projects, I'm working on projects, and it's just becoming like everything's starting to sound. Shut it down. Walk away from it. Come back to it, because I'm not going to get a good outcome to what it is that I'm doing because I'm tired. So a lot of us don't get enough sleep. You have children. When that child goes to sleep, take your butt to sleep. A lot of people they have small children, and the child is going and going and going and going and going, and so are you. And then the child goes to sleep. You say, okay, well, now this is an opportunity for me to go ahead and do this. But you're still doing something for somebody else. You're not doing it for yourself. You should be at that time either taking and going to sleep, closing your eyes, shutting down the mind, turning the radio off, turning the TV off, and just resting your mind. Or if you have a craft, that's a good time for you to knit. That's a good time for you to sew. That's a good time for you to draw, paint, or something like that. That's the child is asleep. Utilize that time. That is not the time. Oh, now that the baby's asleep, I can go ahead and go to such and such. No, you got to change the thinking of what self-care looks like. Right? When the family goes to church on Sunday, hey, my feet are up. I might binge watch something, just do nothing, unless I'm working on projects. Because sometimes that's the time where I have to do some studio stuff, some vocal stuff. I'll go ahead and utilize that time for them. But that's something that I want to do. That's something I enjoy doing. Others outside of me will look at it as, well, you're still working. No, I'm not. That's a craft for me. Right? That's a hobby for me. That's part of me and self-care, working on the things I desire to do. Writing a book, working on editing a video or something. That's what I desire to do. But you have a lot of people who don't have activities. They don't have crafts. They don't have those things. And the TV is the worst thing to sit in front of. Listening to the radio is the worst thing to do, unless you're listening to some other genres, classical music, some jazz, real jazz, not the smooth jazz, real jazz, right? Or listening to some meditative sounds, listening to some soundscapes, some seascapes, rain. I go to sleep with the sound of rain, thunder. I like that, ocean, things of that nature. See, that's part of the meditative thing. And if you begin to use that, like even at night, or during the course of the day when you're taking that, put on some meditative sounds and learn how to channel your brain, your mind to the sound, and just learn how to relax. But you can do that, but you can't get up and just go eat and do all the wrong things and think it's going to make a difference, because it's wasted energy at that point, because you're not following up with other things that are necessary. The article, when it comes to physical care, ask yourself the following questions to assess whether there might be some areas you need to improve. Are you getting adequate sleep? Stop telling yourself that you're getting enough sleep. During my collegiate studies for my master's, I would get up from the computer after working on the paper, jump in the shower, do a bird bath, get to work. Come home from work, I got class that night. And you say, oh, I can do it. It's okay. It's good. No, it's a necessity at that point, because that's what it requires in order to achieve, again, purposeful management. Right? Is your diet fueling your body well? If you're eating processed foods, no. If your diet is filled with nothing but processed food, fast foods, no. You're not. Learn how to cook. If you don't want to cook every day, learn how to cook something that you desire to eat for at least, 2 days. today and tomorrow, 3 days. Peanut butter and jelly is great for me. Vitamin A, B, C, might be some D in there, right? Add a glass of some milk, some coconut milk, some almond milk, or something like that, right? You got to look at all these different things, easy things. But when you look in your cabinet and you say, "Oh, well, there's nothing in there I really want to eat," and your cabinets have plenty of stuff in there, like you go get fast food instead of just taking the time to cook something. You're stressing yourself out more. It's more stress in terms of trying to figure out what am I going to eat, and then now I got to get dressed, I got to get in the car, I got to walk over to the store. So you increase your stress. So now the food is being consumed, but it's decreasing the stress. Instead, you can decrease the stress by looking in your cabinet and saying, "Hey, well, I got some rice in there, I got this, I got that." See, back in our day, my day, right? We ate whatever was fixed. It wasn't no, well, I don't want none of that. Can we order something? Well, none of that. I think we got like pizza like on every pay period. So if they paid every week, we would have pizza on Friday. If we acted right. Whatever it was, whatever mom cooked, we ate. And that was it. We were good with that. We get older, we get a little bit of paper in our pocket, and we see, well, we got all these options and all these choices, and we make bad choices in what it is that we're eating. It takes no time to cook some vegetables up. It takes no time, to take a piece of chicken and turn the heat up one thing and bam, throw it in there, just hook it up. But if you're stressed doing it because you really don't want to do it, then that's adding more stress to you as well. So you got to stop. You got to change your thinking about this stressing you out. And you got to start looking at self-care. I'm not taking care of myself if I'm always going to McDonald's, if I'm always eating this pizza, if I'm always, because that's high cholesterol, it's sugars and all that stuff. And that's not making you any healthier. You're actually working against yourself. You're actually working backwards. And every area of your life is affected by that. And you don't see it. Are you taking charge of your health? Right? One of the things that happened through the Obama administration was what they call Obamacare, but it was about prevention. It was about prevention. It was a matter of putting in place within our insurances these preventive things that you can be doing, following up with your doctor on this, getting this information, getting this checked. It was all about prevention because there's not enough prevention that was being put out for us to understand how we can take care of ourselves versus always going to the doctor when something happens and getting a pill for it. There are things you can do to prevent it. Bowel movements. Are you eating enough vegetables? Are you having enough fiber in your diet? Because these things contribute to colon issues, right? Intestinal issues. Yeah. All the buildup of acids in your stomach because you're eating all of the wrong food. So you're always, feeling sick and you're always taking something to make that go away instead of changing what you're eating. Are you getting the necessary vitamins and things within your body? Because if you're not eating the right foods, because vitamins are found in your fruits and vegetables, your nuts and all those things. If you're not eating the right foods, are you taking a multivitamin? Are you taking a multivitamin that is a good multivitamin? Or are you just taking some off-brand and saying, well, it's cheaper, I'm going to take this? Vitamin C with rose hips, it's good for the season when the season changes, right? So this is a good time to be taking vitamin C, right? Like black folks being vitamin deficient. Vitamin D deficient. Like I live in Florida. I should be getting all the vitamin D in the world. I used to go to the beach a lot. I don't go as much as I used to, right? But you got your vitamin D right there out in the sun, as opposed to having to drink more milk. But take a vitamin D supplement. Do you even know what your blood makeup is? Do you even know what your cholesterol is? That's part of preventive practices that the whole Obama administration, was hinging Obamacare, so-called Obamacare prevention. Doing those things that are necessary to take care of you on a regular basis so you don't find yourself hospitalized, because it was a matter of decreasing hospitalizations, extending life expectancy. If you ever look at what the life expectancy is for particular groups of people, why is it different for Asians? Why is it different for whites? And why is it different for Latinos? And why is it different for blacks? Why is our life expectancy different? What is it about that? But see, when you ignore all of those things, when you don't pay attention to all those things, when you don't listen to all those things, when you're Googling everything other than how do I take care of me, right? To not have to go through all these changes, right? It's ultimately what happens. I'm 63. I'm pushing 64. I feel great. I feel fantastic. And I think for 63, I look pretty damn good, right? I've seen some 53-year-olds that look like they should be 63, right? But it's, and it's not that I do everything, healthy, because I don't. But I make every effort on each day to try to replace a bad behavior with a good behavior, a good practice of living. And that's what it is. So when you look at dieting, don't look at dieting as, oh, I can't eat this no more. I can't eat that no more. Everything is about moderation, right? I love chocolate ice cream, right? Especially some Friendly's chocolate ice cream. But that forbidden chocolate, man, I don't eat it all the time. I'll get a half gallon, I'll eat it, and then I may not have any for a while. Right? Sodas, a lot of things that are high in sugar. Like, I try to drink more water. I try to drink more 100% fruit juices as opposed to, other juices. People talk a lot about, Hawaiian Punch and how much sugar it has on it. Compare what it has in it versus some of the other juices. And you'll find that juice actually has a lower sugar content than most juices that you buy. Certainly has less sugar than soda. Right? So you start just looking at things differently, decreasing the amount of this, decreasing the amount of that. Just about everything has sugar in it. So if everything that you're eating already has sugar in it, and you layer with more products with sugar, right? It's not doing you real good. And if you're not doing vegetables, you got a lot of carnivores out there. All they want is meat, 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 meat. There are a lot of dishes out there that you can make. There's a lot of products out there that can replace meat. They have the same texture like Beyond Burger. I love the Beyond Burgers. Right? Plant-based. Has the same texture as a regular hamburger. Sure, it costs a little more, but aren't you worth it? You can't sit back and keep complaining that, this healthy eating stuff is more costly, and when you have a family, it's this. It's all about portion. Right? It's all about portion as well. It's portion and combination of products that can still give you a filled effect. You learn the certain foods that you can eat. You can eat a banana in the morning. That banana will keep you feeling full for a while, which is part of people's diet. So that's part of dieting as well. I don't have to eat all of this. I can eat a banana and feel full because you just want to feel like you're full. Your mind begins to, your mind begins to tell you other things. What did I do? There we go. I think I just took this, unscrewed the thing too much. All right. Your mind can tell you, a whole bunch of different things. Yeah, this should be good. Your mind can tell you a ton of things. That's why you have to change your thinking. So when I look at what I eat most of the time, I look at the nutritional value of it. I look at what benefits going to have, toward my desired fitness goals. Right? So if I'm trying to build muscle, that means I need to eat more protein. But I need to also have a balance between how much protein I'm taking in and how many carbs that I'm also taking in. right? So you have to find the balance, and you have to look at yourself and say, okay, I'm seeing this, I'm feeling this. Because when you eat a lot of protein, when I go work out, muscles just, they're already fed, they're full, and everything just goes right up. So you have to look at what it is that you desire to have, and you just have to gradually start changing those things. Stop eating white bread. Stop eating white rice. Stop eating certain products and switch over to a multi-grain bread. To a 100% whole wheat bread. To the vegetable pastas, because there's vegetable pastas out there. Yeah, a whole bunch of them. You don't even realize. You just look at it; it's vegetable, and it tastes just like pasta. It looks just like pasta. You have 100% wheat pasta. So you just move away from certain things. So everything is not as high as you believe it to be. Vegetables are vegetable to me. I don't need to get something that says it's what's that term that they use? Organic. It's a vegetable. It's one more thing that's on my plate that helps me to flush my system, to cleanse my system of anything that I'm eating. That's what vegetables and fruits do. And they're healthier for you. I tear up some grapes. Give me a bag of grapes. I get a 2-3 pound bag of grapes, put it on my car seat next to me and be driving. Be good to go. I'm getting water. I'm eating fruit, right? I'm getting filled, right? I'm not stopping at Dunkin' Donuts. I'm not stopping at Burger King, places like that. I keep protein bars in the car. And even though most of them have sugar in it, right, there's other benefits in it. It's the nuts, it's the dark, semi-sweet chocolate. So it's a lot of different things that you're getting out of that. Are you getting enough exercise? How many people actually exercise? Do you exercise? One of the things that I admire about the Asian people, if you ever drive into Chinatown, like 7 o'clock in the morning, as soon as daybreak, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, right? You'll see them out there with the Tai Chi, right? You see them out there. You see the older couples out there. They be doing their Tai Chi, like stretching their body, doing all kinds of things to get their heart going. And if you feel it, if you just take now and just push your arm out like you're pushing somebody away from you, take that push. It's all about motion. It's just push. It's not just sticking the arm out and doing this. It's about push. Moving the air around you, just moving it. When on the last the what's that dude? The Karate Kid. On, off, wax on, wax off. Right, doing those things. Those things. That's movement. It's movement. Right? It's movement. Things that you can do at home. You can sit in a chair or you can do core work, just lifting your knees up. One knee at a time, both knees at a time, stretching your legs out. Right? That's exercise. It's a form of exercise. It's something that you can do right in home. Right in home. You get up in the morning, first thing you do is stretch. That's that spirit returning to the body. Your spirit's returned to your body. You stretch and the spirit is waking you up and you're getting all those things back ready to go so you can get up and roll. The older you get, the more you gotta stretch. Right? Like you just gotta open your eyes first. When you open your eyes and everything else starts to wake up and you start looking around. But the whole spirit, returning to the body is a whole nother episode I'll do. Because I was taught to believe that when we sleep, the spirit leaves the body and returns to the Creator, spends time with the Creator during that period. And when we begin to awaken, the spirit returns to the body. So if you ever stand in the mirror when you wake up in the morning, get up out of the bed, and, after you go to the bathroom, and then turn the light on and stand in the mirror and look at your body. Right? And then an hour later, come back and look at your body again, and you'll see the difference in your body. Yeah. Yeah. Check it out. You don't have to believe me. Follow it for yourself. Learn for yourself. I'm just telling you. So, Physical self-care is like really, really, really significant, but it doesn't include the cosmetic stuff. It doesn't include the cosmetic stuff. That's not physical care. Changing your body with those kinds of enhancements is not physical care. That is not physical care. It's not. It's just falsifying your appearance. It's giving people the false perception of this is what you're working with. And it's false. That's not physical care. Now, you have to do things once you get those enhancements, which are part of its care. And a lot of people fail to do those things. It's just like taking medication as prescribed. Pain goes away, the symptoms go away, you stop taking the medication, but you got a 30-day prescription. You take it for 10 days, I'm good. Enhancements are a medical condition. Therefore, there are things that you have to continue to do to make sure that those enhancements still fit. Certain things you still have to eat. Certain medications you probably still have to continue to take. I don't know much about what happens after you do it. I just know people are getting it done. I don't have to research all the other aspects of it. Maybe I'll do a show on it. I don't know. But it's just, that's not physical care. It's not. So again, it just says, keep in mind that there's a strong connection between your body and mind. Body and mind. What are you telling yourself? The previous two episodes focused on, how people see themselves and how people come to see themselves, right? It's others who shape your thinking about you. And at some point, you have to begin to formulate a self-concept, right? Because you can't live according to others' expectations. You can't live based on what others are telling you about yourself. You can't live on that. You can't. People can influence things about you that you desire to change. They can influence those things. But are they rightfully influencing them? Have you selected the right people to follow behind? Because this whole body shaming thing came about as a result of advertisements. Rail thin women was, what everybody had to be, right? They're beautiful. Just as beautiful are the thick women. But that wasn't the ideal perception. And even today, you still have that. You see more today of, thicker women, in magazines and then models and things like that. But just imagine being, growing up in an era where you weren't desirable and what you felt about yourself then because of what everybody else was saying about you. Right? So we have to be careful what we're telling ourselves. We have to be careful what we're telling our children and other loved ones around us. Be careful what we're saying to people. Because you can send somebody to the rooftop, to the bridge, to put the rope around their neck because of what you say about them, because of what society perpetuates in terms of what we should be, what we should not be. Right? So just begin to look at what can I do different? What can I do different? Right? In making that basic change in my life. Right? We're at the hour, so we've got a chance to cover physical self-care. There are 4 others on this article that we have to cover, but this is something that I focus on a lot because if I don't focus on these things, nobody else around me is going to do it for me. They're not. You can tell people all day long they need to go to the doctor. They need to go to the doctor. They need to follow up on this. They don't do it. I need to do this for me because I can't do a damn thing for my job, my family, nobody, if I'm not taking care of myself. I've already been that route in situations where I sacrifice all of me for something or someone else. And at the end of the day, you get sick and you can't work, replacement is a click away. Your replacement is a click away. Remember that. You are dispensable. When you're healthy, you are indispensable. When you are unhealthy, you are dispensable. There's somebody waiting to replace you. There's somebody waiting to replace you, and you will be replaced. If you die because of things that you failed to do in caring for yourself, that's on you. That's on me. That other person has to move on. They have to move on. You know, you find yourself incapacitated because of something that you failed to do in taking care of yourself, and you can't help in the household anymore. Now you're depressed about that. Well, you did it. You did it. So you can't blame others for not wanting to be accommodating to you for what you failed to do for yourself. And now everybody's supposed to, what, the world's supposed to stop? Everybody's supposed to get off the bus and come help you because you failed to take care of yourself? Is that fair? It's expected. But is it fair? Is it fair? Yeah. So when you are unfair to you, you become unfair to others. So take care of yourself. So next week we're going to follow up and we're going to look at social self-care. What is social self-care? What does social self-care look like? I mean, for real, what does it really look like? You know, what does that look like? Social self-care. Well, we won't know until next week. Well, you might have an idea now. But as always, thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in, for joining in this morning. Another episode of Daddy's Right Here Live. I'm thankful for all my continued supporters, new supporters. Listen, you can be doing anything else on a Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. They're listening to me. So many things. But you've chosen to be here. And I appreciate that. Again, your host is always Shabir Aleem. Thank you for tuning in to Daddy's Right Here Live. Peace.
With every breath of life blown into soil, gathered from each part of the world, fashioned in his likeness and created in his image, came the first man. He was given a wife, a helper. Both were given clear directions on what was permissible and what was forbidden. Both suffered a spiritual death for their transgression. Eventually, both experience physical death. Man belongs to him, and to him all praises are due. It would be a terrible thing to die not in the state of total submission to his will, forever wandering aimlessly in this life and the next.
Profess your faith, Christian, Catholic, Muslim, Jew. Did you choose it, or did it choose you? You're emulating others, you're regurgitating their words. An unlearned mind is simply absurd. He is the knower, sees all that you do. Said don't be superficial, to thy own self be true. You came into this world alone, and so shall you go. A witness describe your actions, there's no man to say it so. Free will he gave us, praise him to save us. No time to waste, that's in the days. Free will he gave us, praise him to save us. No time to waste, that's in the days. Death soon you taste. Death soon you'll taste. Death soon you'll taste. Life is a burden, is part of the test. Inconvenience yourself and see how you'll be blessed. You're a guided example. You're distinguished from all others. Treat them all with kindness, your sisters and your brothers. Be righteous, bow down to the merciful Lord. Trust that he will bless you with the most gracious reward. Being a disbeliever, you cannot afford. Remembrance is the only way to be on one accord. Free will he gave us, praise him to save us. No time to waste, that's soon your days. Free will he gave us, praise him to save us. No time to waste, that's soon your days. Yes, soon you'll taste. Yes, soon you'll taste. Yes, soon you'll taste. Apparel also proclaims man, materialistically diverted, his riches amassed, but is spiritually deserted. He's searching for an answer, but he did it to himself. He's putting things before God, mistaking it all for wealth. Haughty and full of pride, your misdeeds you cannot hide. His punishment is swift, forgiveness he'll provide. Repent and mend yourself, declaring your untruth. Turn to the unforgiven, for he's the living proof. Free will he gave us, praise him to save us. No time to waste, that's soon your days. Free will he gave us, praise him to save us. No time to waste, that's soon your days. Yes, soon you'll taste. Yes, soon you'll taste. Yes, soon you'll taste.
So you've been listening to The Lowly Marks. That's one of the tracks off my recently released album, You Want to Be Me. Yeah, album number 3.
In this place, being lonely is key. A servant to God, not the avowed enemy. Spirituality is fine. You don't need religion. Love of the divine, not of man's division. Give honor and praise to the Most High, the most gracious, most merciful one, the go-to God. Each day above ground, don't live in the past. Live into the fullest because it could be your last. vengeance is mine. The Lord saith, His grace and mercy ain't nothing to play with. Free will He gave us, praise Him to save us. No time to waste, soon takes. Free will He gave us, praise Him to save us. No time to waste, just soon takes. Yes, soon you'll taste. Yes, soon you'll taste. Yes, soon you'll taste.
Once again, thank you for tuning in to Daddy's Right Here Live. I'll see you next week, 9 o'clock. Yep, on the dot. And we're going to continue that list of practices of self-care. And we're going to follow up with social self-care. Thank you always for your continued support. It's your man, Sierra Lee. I holla at you. Peace.